Anyone who's got any interest in Aboriginal ownership of land in Australia will remember that sort of iconic moment when Gough Whitlam poured the sand into Lingari's hand in the Northern Territory. You know, it was great to have him back all those years later and see the process continuing with this important bit of coastal land in New South Wales being handed back to the Worimi. It was a very emotional ceremony. It was an important reflection, I suppose, on the tradition or the process of handing Aboriginal land back to its traditional owners in Australia.
We were very happy, Margaret and I, to be invited here today to see what had been done under a State Act and a State Land Council. The first such deal that has been made for a Land Council and a National Park in Australia. And thank you very much for giving me the opportunity in this place and in the presence of all the responsible people to congratulate you on doing what you've had the authority to do and what has now been done. This will be a model for many places in Australia now. Thank you.
It is a measure of our nation's strength that today we can meet to overcome at least one of those old mistakes, the dispossession of these lands from the Worimi. We acknowledge the past injustice and we seek healing and growth together. That is why today's ceremony is so important. It has been a long coming back since the dispossession for the children of this honoured place. To your campsites, burial grounds, corroboree grounds, to places where your ancestors collected pippies, to your shell middens. You have honoured your forebears by persevering with your campaign to have this land protected for all time. And now it is part of the Conservation Estate of New South Wales and a declared place of great cultural significance to Aboriginal people.
Once again, you are the guardians of this land. But more than guardians, under this agreement, you are also sharers, because this is a resolution that respects your past, but also makes possible a common future. To be Australian means something more today than it did yesterday. With this agreement, we have become a more just and honourable people, a step further away from our shameful past, a step closer to a reconciled future. Thank you for allowing us to make history with you today.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to thank you for your attendance here today on this very, very special occasion. It really has been something very, very special, not only for Worimi people, but for our Port Stephens people in general. Not only for Port Stephens, but for others who want to share this magnificent land. It truly has been a very, very special day indeed. Thank you.
Well, the challenges are to try and take all that trust that we built up over the last couple of years. During the negotiation, we had 3 parties involved. We had the panel, negotiating panel, we had the Land Council, we had the National Parks. And my role was to make sure we built the trust, built the agreements in the room, make sure we could move forward. I think what we've really achieved over those 2.5 years is a really significant level of trust between the 3 parties. This co-management means exactly what it is. It's co-existence, co-work, so really working together. And I think the great thing they've got now, which they probably didn't have 2 years ago, is they've had families talking to each other again. They've got people really working together. A very generous spirit that we heard about at the handback ceremony, a really generous spirit, and that gives them a real opportunity to really focus on a thing called the plan of management, which is going to be the really important document to manage these lands for the future, to really embrace what the community wants, what the recreational groups want and what the parks want to achieve, as well as what the Board of Management and the Aboriginal people want to achieve. I think that's the greatest thing we've got out of 2.5 years of negotiation.